So the secret 7 are tried and tested tips to turbocharge your photography business. This is a big training, okay? And I'm going to do my best to give you as in-depth, actionable content as I can. Okay, so we need you to zone in, shut the door, turn off your phone, grab a pen and paper, and capture as many golden nuggets as you can. Really relate it to your business and where you are. And I want you to write all those golden nuggets down and start creating a to-do list, okay? Okay, you're in the right place if you need to get serious. Maybe you're in that stage where you feel like you're not quite committing enough to really make a go of it, okay? You don't know where to start and you want to get ahead faster. Okay, so who are we? I'll whiz through this bit because I'm pretty sure most of you will know who we are, but I'm Emily Hancock. I've achieved 2 fellowships with the British Institute of Professional Photography. I've owned a successful equine photography business for 20 years, trained for over 10 years. I've been creating equine art that sells around the world, and I have a studio in the New Forest. Hannah Freeland, she's achieved her associateship with the British Institute of Professional Photography in equine photography. She's created and developed a successful equine photography business. She's been a trainer for over 5 years now with the Training Barn, and she flies around the globe for private commissions. So it sounds like we're all back, the sound, and hopefully the video is there. Hannah's putting the thumbs up to me, so I'm sorry guys about that little technical hitch. Hopefully we dealt with it very professionally and there was no sweat. Yeah. Okay, so what are we going to learn this evening? Now, when you think about having a 5-star business, it is vital that you get your mindset right. We find that most photographers are struggling desperately with their confidence, and we're going to talk about how to get your mindset right. Talking about niching down, okay? So what it is important to niche, and I'm not talking just about horses here, okay? So we're going to delve into that. Shoot. So many photographers that miss this vital bit, which you wouldn't really believe, but I'm sure there's a few of you on here tonight. You don't get enough shooting time. And so we're going to talk about why the photographers who shoot reach the top, okay? Going pro, we talk about this a lot in our 1-year course. You know, what it looks like to you and your business and to your clients to go pro, okay? And then we're going to talk about the be, do, have 5-star business, okay? Why it matters. And we're going to delve into how you go through that process of be, do, have. Invest yourself 100%. Now, it sounds a bit crazy, but I promise you, this is where the action happens, okay? Investing yourself will propel your business forward. And then we're going to talk about education and mentoring and how Hannah and I both invested a lot of time, effort, energy and money into our education. Okay, so guys, what if you made the change? Now, I know you're all at different stages in your business at the moment, but I want you to think for a second, if I implemented everything that I have heard over the last 3 training sessions, what would happen? What would it look like if I made that change in my business, okay? And really see it in your mind and decide whether you want it or whether you're just here for the fun. Now, either's fine, of course, but what if you made that change? Okay, so we're going to dive into mindset. Positive mental attitude. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's how we just got through this tech issue. We believed it would happen, the good bit where it got sorted out. We kept going. No, it's important. You have to believe that you are able to make this happen. Lots of people don't think to themselves, I could never be a 5-star photographer. I could never be earning those sorts of figures that Emily and Hannah talk about. I could never be that good at photography. And you know what? With that sort of attitude and mindset, you won't be. But if you deep down believe, why not me? Why can't it be me? Of course it can. It can be any one of you, but you have to put a positive mental attitude to everything you're going to do in your business, okay? Opportunities. You need to see opportunities, and you need to be ready to invest yourself and your business in those opportunities, okay? You need to be really savvy about them. Now, we talk about this a lot when we're talking about model calls and portfolio building. Now, quite often, we'll have lots of opportunities to photograph people, but what happens is photographers don't fully embrace the opportunity that is presented to them. Okay, so they might not make the best use out of that model and those images. And so you've got to be a really savvy business person to really look at these opportunities and take them for what they are and maximize what you can get from them, okay, from a business perspective. Fear is a massive, and I know both Hannah and I have fear all the time around things like tech failing. No. As a creative, fear holds us back a lot of the time, and confidence is the biggest killer of a creative business, because if you lack in confidence, you let that fear stop you from progressing. And so you really need to decide whether what you're feeling is a fact or if it is just in fact a feeling, right? So those fears that can stop us from progressing and going and photographing and really pushing our creative boundaries, is that actually a fact that we're going to mess up, we'll look like we don't know what we're doing, we won't look professional enough, my kit isn't good enough, is that true? So that leads on to excuses. Then that fear leads into us making 1,000 excuses as to why you couldn't get out this weekend to photograph, why you haven't been able to process your images as nicely as you would. Now, there's always a journey, okay? So wherever you are in that journey, embrace it and really take charge of it. And now, when you look at your business as a whole, you can start to analyze, where are the weaknesses? Where are my strengths? And we do SWOT analysis all the time. I say all the time, a couple of times a year, right? And we look at our strengths, we look at our weaknesses, we look at our opportunities, and we look at our threats. And what you'll find is, quite often we will use excuses linked with our weaknesses. And that's exactly what they are. There's excuses. And so you need to really catch yourself when you find yourself just giving an excuse as to why you haven't moved your business forward. And again, with obstacles, we come across obstacles all the time, but it's about how you jump over those obstacles or go round them. If you let them stop you and put these barriers in front of your success as a photographer, you won't progress as you want to, and you won't be that 5-star photographer that you're dreaming of being if you let those obstacles stop you. Okay. So niching down, this is a very important one actually, because people think, well, we're in a really niche market right now, photographing horses, which of course is completely true. We are in a niche market, but in actual fact, I want you guys to think about where your passion lies. Okay, so it may be with horses, but is there a discipline that you particularly love to watch? Is it show jumping? Is it dressage? Is it vaulting? Is it racing? Is it the pony club? Where does that passion lie? And so how can you niche down further? And I have to be completely honest that my career over the last 20 years has basically been built around dressage horses. I happened to be a dressage rider as an amateur, had a nice horse, used to ride and compete. But so it was an easy way for me to get in a circle to other dressage riders, and so I used that as a springboard. Now, if you have friends that have children who are in pony club, or you know someone who owns a racehorse, or particularly in the showing world, or whatever discipline it is, you might like to explore that and niche down even further. So we say that smaller is better, and the reason being is that the smaller your audience, okay, the more clearly they hear your marketing efforts, right? So if you're talking to a big market, now the equine world is big. There are hundreds of thousands of horses. I mean, probably millions. I don't know the exact number, but the equine market is huge. Okay, now if you niche down into a discipline, you reduce the size of that, and you can be heard better by those people who are potentially your target market, okay? So specializing, you could think about, being specifically a children's photographer, children and pony, or you could be a black and white equine photographer, so you only photograph in black and white, or you do very high key work, or you do the styled shoots, so where they dress up, maybe as historic characters or whatever it is. So really think about specializing, and where would you where's your passion lie with that? Okay, so where you're going to specialize. And then of course it's about being the expert. Now, you can't necessarily be the expert. I say you can't, but that's a word I don't really like, because in actual fact there is no such word as can't, really, in my mind. But you're more likely to be an expert within children's photography of showing ponies, right? So if you niche down that far, children between the ages of 4 and 12, and you're going to photograph the show ponies, and the images you only produce are black and white, right? So you think, oh my goodness, I'm cutting out my whole market. And that's not true. You become the expert in that area. And if you elevate your business to a point where everyone then who wants black and white photography of their daughter and their showing pony comes straight to you, because you are so well known and you are the expert in that area.
So I've got a couple of questions that are relevant to this section. Greg Smith says, can you give example of dressage and how you niche down within that?
Okay, so when I'm talking about niching down into the dressage market, what I'm saying is, if you look at the market as a whole, you have got all these different networks. So you've got networks of dressage people, racing people, pony club people, and it goes on. There's many of them. And each discipline doesn't necessarily know the other discipline. So as a dressage rider, I know a lot about dressage, but I actually don't know hardly anything about vaulting. And I certainly sat, watching a showing ring, couldn't tell you, what Highland pony would win in that particular show, because I don't understand that world. And what you find is the worlds rarely cross over. So you're unlikely to find a showing person with the Highland ponies, right, doing dressage. Okay, so when I'm talking about niching down into the dressage market, you're going to want to think about how you're marketing yourself specifically to dressage riders. So that could be location, as far as venues, where does dressage happen? It could be in your language, the way your marketing material talks about capturing the horse and owner, and using words that dressage riders, they will often stick with their horses for years and years and years, whereas you might find that the show jumpers, they tend to go through their horses a bit quicker, because it's a very obvious, if they knock a show jump down, or if they don't go clear often enough, then they want to buy new horses that will go clear. Whereas dressage is a bit more subjective. I know Hannah's looking at me like the time is going on. Sorry. So yes, think about niching down into a specific discipline and talking to those people.
So I'm going to be naughty and ask you another question, but it's because while we're about niching down, you can answer it while being on this. Jessica and a lot of people I know have this feeling. She says, I just want to get out there, but no one seems interested other than free model calls. So if we put that in relevance to niching down, you're going to start talking to the perfect target market because you've niched all the way down, and that will help.
Yes, and you need to create a portfolio that is speaking to your target market. So if you want to, at the minute, you might find that your portfolio is not specific enough. Okay, because you're photographing free models, I would suggest that they potentially are a mixed bag of people and horses. Whereas if you start to really focus on one area, so if you look at your portfolio and you think, you know what, when I photographed that 16-2 event horse with that beautiful lady, that is the sort of images I want to produce. They're the sort of model and owner. Then niche down into that and start to produce a portfolio that is reflective of the event horse and owner. And then what happens is you'll start to speak to those people. Whereas at the minute, you might find that you're a little bit scattered in your portfolio.
You may move on.
I may move on. Okay, so it means you'll be the expert, and that's what niching down does for you. So don't be scared to go small and tight. Okay, so shoot, guys. I can't tell you how many photographers sit on their computer editing images and not actually shooting.
Go on, hands up.
Oh yeah.
Go on, hands up. Who's done it?
Guilty of that. We're all guilty of that, because sometimes it's easier to sit in the comfort of your home editing on a computer. In your pajamas. And it's a bit more scary to get out there and shoot. And what happens if it goes wrong? And we talked about fear, and that's what it is. Fear is stopping you. So for those photographers that do get out and shoot often, now Hannah and I was with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about this and creating a style, and we both were saying that the hours of shooting we put in right at the start of our careers really paid off as we started to build and become more successful, because what happened was that we built up a lot of experience photographing different people, photographing different horses, photographing different locations, on and on and on. If you keep going, eventually what happens is you get to this place where you start to feel like you're cruising. You're like, okay, I actually know what I'm doing now. And then the confidence really builds. And so you develop your style. You will quickly develop a good portfolio because of the experience you're having and the confidence you're building. And not only that, is you're going to build up a lot of contacts. Now, the more people that you can produce beautiful imagery for, the better. And I know sometimes it's a very controversial thing in the photography world to say go and shoot for free, but if I'm completely honest, and I'm not sure, but I think Hannah has as well, early on in my career I did shoot for free.
You think? Of course.
I actually can't remember that far back. I'm sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. But I know that not every shoot was paid, and I didn't go out the starting gates of £595. That didn't happen. Okay. I was shooting a lot. I was building my confidence. I was building my experience, and I was building my contacts, and those contacts start to talk about you. Okay. And if you use them really wisely, then they actually start to promote your business without, through word of mouth, which is the strongest form of marketing. Okay. And the most important thing is, of course, you learn. Every shoot you do, you will learn something new. And if you're really good at coming away from a shoot and sitting down and analysing what's happened, why it's happened, why those images didn't work, why those images look so beautiful, what you love about them, then you start to learn as you go. And so I can't overemphasise the value in actually picking up your camera and going and shooting as much as you can. And you know what? It doesn't have to be horses. Just carry your camera around on a daily basis and photograph people, look at light, photograph dogs and flowers and everything. You don't have to put any of that on social media. You don't have to say you do any of that stuff. I just quickly, I know I've got to move on, but I remember when I was starting out and I asked my mum to stand against a white wall and I just photographed like 500 times. I said, can you just pull some funny faces? Can you look in different directions? I took the same shot 500 times. And then I just went through them and looked at them. I printed them out, stuck them in a book, started to know, I like that, I don't like that. Why do I like that? Why don't I like that? And that was the start of a journey of me having a critical eye and building my own confidence.
So there's been a couple of questions regarding our recent weather.
Yes.
So a lot of people are saying
bad.
It's been difficult to get out and shoot in this weather. And Andrew sort of finished off the question by saying, what kind of shoots would you go looking for during the winter months? Is there still a market during this time as the horses are all rugged up and have winter coats?
Yes.
I'm fully booked.
Yeah, Hannah is fully booked all the way through to the end of the year.
And then some.
And then some. Right, so this is where you can get stuck and you think, this is kind of where the excuses start to come in. Oh, the weather's bad. The horses have got thick coats. And actually, I'm not saying you're making excuses, by the way. Sorry, who was answering? Andrew. Sorry,
No.
I'm not saying you're making it.
No one's
Excuses.
making excuses, but no.
But I would go if I was building my pool now, I would install the shoots. I would still go, even if it's absolutely pouring, because I tell you what, I did do a shoot once that was torrential rain, but what happened was there was a big black cloud and a thunderstorm that came over, and then the sun followed, and I've got the most incredible images with a black sky, the girls in a cornfield with a little dress on, and the sun shines straight on them, and that set of images are beautiful. But you may not get that. That was pure chance, but that was because I was still going ahead with the shoot. Maybe go and photograph in the muddiest field you can and get the horse to run around in circles and focus on its feet and all the mud splatting up and its hooves and, think a bit more artistic. Or
I did a shoot recently with she was 13 or 14, but Pony was sold and going the following day. So I had no choice but to carry on in the wet, and 2 of those images went and won awards.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I changed was her hair. We did it in a French plait so that as she got wetter, it didn't frizz her hair or make her look like a drowned rat. But I used the rain as a bit of a, isn't this hilarious sort of thing.
And then the other thing you can do, which is great for your development creatively, is if you carry on with the shoot and all you have is a barn or a stable that is in the dry, then you photograph as many different poses as you can just in that area and just keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself and pushing yourself till you are so exhausted you can't think of anything else. And see how that grows your creativity because you're forced into these boundaries. I've done a photo shoot with a cool umbrella lady walking through the forest with her umbrella and a horse. I mean, that can work. So don't let the winter worry you.
When it comes to paid client work, sorry, Martha's asking, do I reschedule? Yes. For paid clients, absolutely. This is their once in a lifetime opportunity.
And the reason being is that if you go ahead and the horse looks like a drowned rat and the hair looks wet, the sales after are going to be less. They are. That is definitely a fact.
Yeah.
So if it's a paying client, try and reschedule. But there are some scenarios, like Hannah said, with the pony that was going to be sold and the lady that I photographed with the black sky, where we couldn't reschedule, and so you had to make the best of it. Okay, so going pro. We talk about this a lot as well, guys. Like, there's a whole ton of photographers that are in our group that are in this middle phase. They love it, they're passionate about it, they want to go pro, but they're stuck in this middle area where basically confidence is holding them back. So this might mean setting up a studio space. Now, when I talk about setting up a studio space, I mean talking about setting up a dedicated area where it is for your business. Now, that might just be a corner of the lounge, right? But you don't let the children come and start playing Minecraft on your work computer. Yes, that happens in my house all the time.
My other half, exactly.
And you set up a space where you have a couple of your frames up and you have your workstation and it is dedicated for your business. Nothing else comes in it or, ruins it for you. And think about your online presence, okay? If you at the minute are a bit of a jack of all trades, or people don't know you've gone pro, you need to work on your online presence, okay? Be it through a website or social media. If you want to be an equine photographer 100%, then that is what you must show. And you must go pro with that, okay? So make sure you're showing your best work and don't mix it with a few babies, a few dogs, a few this, a few that. Now, of course, if you want to be a kind of jack of all trades photographer who can do everything and anything, then cool, you can do that. But if you want to niche down and be known as an expert in one area, then start showing what you want to show, okay? Suppliers, make sure. Did you have a question?
I did.
Hannah?
It's such a good question.
Go on then.
Jessica says, I have social media accounts, but how useful are websites?
How useful are websites?
Yeah,
go. Hannah used to be a website designer, a coder or something. No,
yeah.
Yes, that whole. So I'll pass over.
Look at me kneeling next to her. I was going to come on and just say the website should tie up the deal. So you should use your voice, network with people, do collaborations. I always find my website finalizes the deal, and that's by a very strong portfolio, and the same with my Instagram or my Facebook. But I do think nowadays, if they do go and find a website, or they can't find a website that's dedicated to you, it might give the wrong impression of not being professional. The nice thing about a website is if you think of it like traffic, and here comes one of my analogies. So social media is very busy. There's a lot of distractions on social media. Your website is clear of any traffic. It is just about you, and it only conveys what you want to tell the client. They can't be distracted by an advert for someone else.
And it's an added trust thing, isn't it? If they've gone through all those other stages with you, a phone inquiry, in-person inquiry, then they land on your website and it solidifies that trust in who you are and what you do. Okay, so suppliers going pro, make sure that if you're dealing with clients and you're selling frames and images and stuff, you're not using a supplier that the public can use. So you don't want to use Vistaprint to sell your big 30-inch prints, because the client can also use them. You want to go to professional suppliers for everything you do in your photography business. Contacts, make sure you've got your professional contacts around you and that you're using them in your business to help you go pro. Okay, so people who you align yourself with, and that ties in with suppliers as well, because if they're professional suppliers, then you also appear or should be a professional business as well. Thinking about the language that you use in all your materials, so be it on social media or your PDF style guide, what sort of language are you using? Are you using those words that imply that you're a professional, and that you are not just a kind of weekend warrior, I think they call them, or whatever. You know, that this is your business, this is your thing, this is what you're an expert in. Appearance. So, you know, turning up to a photo shoot with ripped jeans and flip-flops on, you know, clearly that's not going to work for equine shoots. But believe me, there are some people that will turn up in a hoodie with their camera, ripped jeans, and off they go, thinking that that makes them a professional. Absolutely not. You need to dress appropriately for an equine photo shoot, and if you want to take it up that notch, then go buy yourself a pair of DeBarrys and you know, a barber. You know, no, of course you don't have to get that stuff, but actually, if you want to embrace that world and be part of it and seem to be in it, then, you know, things like wearing a nice barber jacket is just helps with that.
It's also great to have a uniform. So
yes.
You don't think before a photo shoot, oh goodness, what should I wear?
Yes.
I definitely have a uniform that I just have some different colours, but it makes life so much easier.
And the details of your business.
Sorry, Chris says he's too old for ripped jeans.
Never, Chris. No one's ever too old for ripped jeans. The details of your business. Really look at your business. Every single section of it. Everything, down to the way you respond to emails. The details. Have you gone pro, or are you half playing at it? Okay, and that's a big one. Don't let that little sentence disappear. Write it down. Look at my business in its entirety, analyze it, and where am I not going pro? Okay.
Oh, Molly says she's got a jacket with her brand name on it. It came today so people know who she is.
Nice, Molly. Okay, so before we carry on, I want you to type in the chat box, what does going pro look like to you in your business right now? So exactly what I just said. If you think about your business, which bit do you really need to go pro with? Now, this could be your emails. This could be your style guide. This could be the way you book clients in. This could be the follow-ups. You know, where are you? Cleaning your car. Yeah. Do you turn up to shoots with
Coke
you know,
cans falling out the
yes,
side.
Coke cans falling out your door when you open the door? Now, what area of your current business do you think you need to go pro with?
Products. Samples. Everyone else is talking amongst themselves.
Oh. Okay.
Online presence. I've not been consistently posting on it. I have a wardrobe full of branded stuff now. It's bad and addictive. All of the business aspects, invoicing, emailing, follow-up, marketing.
Okay, so this is where your weaknesses are, right? When you do your SWOT analysis, this is your weaknesses. And so these are the things that probably for some people, you know, we're on the run down to the end of the year now. So I would be looking at my weaknesses and what I need to work on in 2020. And everything you're listing now is exactly what would be on the top of the list.
Pre-shoot consultations, booking process and pricing, marketing, online presence, email group, making an email sign up and regular emails to clients, consistent processing style. As creators, we all go through that.
Yeah.
More than once. Whole marketing side of things, marketing, developing contacts, engaging them in potential engagements. Not shooting in bad weather, Susan. As in you're doing it a lot, or you want to do it?
Shooting in bad weather.
So going pro would be, I'm not going to shoot in bad weather. I think that's what you're saying.
So setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Packages, I can't decide what I should and should not be including in the shoot.
Okay, so you need to really analyze these weaknesses. Break them down into the tiniest sections, start from 0 and work up. Work out what your dream business looks like, and then work back and decide every piece of communication with your clients or online or wherever you're visible, okay, every piece needs to be reflective of your 5-star business. If you're going for a 5-star business, right, we always talk about people going for their 5-star businesses because frankly, who wants a 3-star business? That's not like what we're in the game for, okay? We want to be the best we can be. And so everything in your business, you need to decide, is that 5-star? Is that phone call I just had with that client, would that have been considered 5-star? Was that email 5-star? Was that photo shoot 5-star? I could go on and on, right? Hannah's looking at me.
What advice do you have on contracts?
Contracts, okay. Sorry, it's a little bit of an internal joke because neither Hannah or I have ever had a contract. And it comes up in every webinar. People say, should we have a contract? What do we do about contracts? And basically you're asking the wrong people because Hannah and I have never had one.
We have very good insurance and we have a paper trail of emails where we've prepared the client and walked them through what is going to happen, what happens if the weather's bad, things like that. So I just wouldn't ask them to sign it because it's not, well, I can't legally say it's not worth the paper it's printed on, but
I think there are lots of people who have contracts. When I was a wedding photographer, I had a contract. That's the done thing, absolutely. With equine photography, your insurance needs to be watertight and you need to make sure with your insurance company. Now, I think people in this day and age are perfectly used to signing contracts. And so I think if you go and get a properly written legal document as a contract written for your business for exactly what you're going to be doing, there is no harm in having the client when she books or he books that they sign the contract at the same time. That is, I think if I was starting again right now, that's what I would be doing. Now, because Hannah and I have both been in the game for 20 years, we've edged over into that. You're now archaic, and we've always done it a certain way, and contracts haven't been part of our business, and so we just haven't changed that. But I would suggest you do go and do that now. That I would.
Yeah, I'm going to answer 2 questions super quickly so Emily can take a drink.
Oh, thank you.
Chris, if I'm doing a paid commercial shoot, it's absolutely on a contract, but it's a very different shoot. And Ron, do you take a deposit for a shoot? I take the full shoot fee before I get in my car. My shoot fee currently is £695, and a client will pay the entire shoot fee before the shoot.
But they could pay a deposit.
As long as it's paid before the shoot.
Yes. So you might take a 50% deposit 6 months out when they book with you initially, and then 30 days before the actual shoot date.
Done.
Okay. Cool. Right. So do have 5-star. So what we're talking about here is, well, I'm going to give you a really good example. Okay. If you want to be 5-star, okay. Hannah once said to me quite some years ago, she says, I want to be this 5-star photographer and exclusive and all those things. And I said, okay, well, when you turn up to a photo shoot, when you walk out of your car onto the yard, are you being the £5,000 photographer? And Hannah thought about it for a minute, and she decided her Coke cans falling out her door. Probably
in my old 3-door Audi that was so muddy and done 250,000 miles, and yeah.
So you have to be that £5,000 photographer, okay, before you actually are, and you have to do the things that a £5,000 photographer would do, and then what happens is you start to have what a £5,000 photographer would have, okay? So it may sound a bit extreme, but if you are the £300 photographer and you turn up as that, and your systems and your processes and your business is that £300 business, okay? You're going to struggle to get higher. And this is about having a mindset where you can visualize who and what you want to be and what you want your business to be, okay? So you really need to elevate yourself and think, if people were paying me £5,000 all the time for my shoots, what would I be doing? What would I look like? Who would I need to be in order to get that?
Okay, so Susan's made a good point, and let's just describe them. What does a 5,000 photographer look like?
Okay, so, right. Well, here we go. Right, so...
Well, let's start right from the beginning.
Yes, right from the beginning, okay, with the initial...
Chris said Emily and Hannah.
Thanks,
Chris.
Okay, so right from the beginning, you're going pro, okay? So your attention to detail is the highest. Now, if we think about someone walking into Chanel or Gucci or whoever else, right? You know, they're going to walk in and they're going to spend £5,000 on a handbag. Now, what does that store look like? You walk in, the carpets are spotlessly clean. The staff are absolutely immaculate. They don't rush and, you know, or they're not following you around the store, but they come over and they're polite and they inquire as to whether you need help. You know, the products are displayed beautifully. They're not overcrowded. There's not a million different handbags all, you know, crowded together. Every handbag has its space and it's beautiful. And the smell of the store, if you walk in, you will smell a scent, which no doubt is some psychological like buy me scent. The music in the background is beautiful. Now I know, okay, so you get the picture, right? That's what you have to do with your business, start to finish. Every touch point has to feel luxurious. Your brand has to be beautiful and look expensive. And your products have to be the best in quality. You can't cut corners. You have to go over and above to make sure your clients are having that luxury experience.
So you're better off having one frame
that
it's beautifully made than 10 frames that are all from IKEA because you wanted to print more. Just it's worth buying a pack of 10 pieces of paper for welcome letters that are beautiful, because that's what you can afford right now.
So it might be that instead of doing emails, you do posted letters, you know, your confirmation letter, you send it in a beautiful envelope with a beautiful sticker on the back and it has embossed, you know, writing on the front, or whatever it is. You need to, you know, if you want to be that £5,000 photographer, you have to understand what that looks like.
Even down to your communication. If your client for a second thinks, I wonder if I should have thought about, that's not being 5-star. Your client should be handheld. So
all that before they've even asked them. I'm just trying to think of another example
of being 5-star.
Okay, so you know, if you say your photo shoot is going to last 2 hours or thereabouts, you absolutely do not make it last 3 hours, and you absolutely don't get it over and done within 20 minutes unless that's what the client wants. Okay, so you really stick. Your word has to be trusted.
So Karen's made a good point. Sorry, guys. This is actually what it's all about. So we're going to answer these. Karen says it's such a catch-22 as investing in this 5-star is expensive before you know people will commit that money. You can't start 100% 5-star if you have cheaper products to show. Emily and I were discussing this earlier. You don't have to have a printed brochure with gold leaf embossing on the front, but if you're going to do a brochure, make it the most beautiful PDF you possibly can. There's ways of making sure that whatever you do implement, even your emails, don't just whack an email back saying, fine, great, see you then. You know, take your time,
embellish it.
Yeah, use 5-star language. It doesn't have to be expensive, it has to be right.
Yeah. And also, you don't remember that analogy with the bags and overcrowding. Simple is always best. So if you have 5 things that you do really, really well, that is better than you doing 20 touch points that are half-hearted.
And you know, Pete, genuinely, guys, if you do your target market, they will see the value in your 5-star. I know it's like saying, just believe us. but we've been there, we've done it, we've tested it.
Yeah.
You do.
It takes time.
Yeah.
You definitely can't go out tomorrow and suddenly be 100% successful, you know, charging £5,000 or getting paid £5,000, and literally it happens overnight. That doesn't happen, of course. We all know that.
Kevin, I'm answering your question, but it's creative market will be the dream for all of you.
Your best friend, creative market.
Don't go now though, because we won't get you back.
No. Okay, so just think about really valuing who you are, what your business is, and make sure you show that to the client. Okay, invest yourself 100%. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about investing 100% of your time, but I'm talking about investing 100% of you in any job that you are doing within your business. Okay, you need to get stuck in, you need to believe in this, and you need to get your head down, and you need to stop messing around by surfing the internet, checking out other photographers, like procrastinating, going to Creative Market and spending hours on there looking for templates. No, you need to get serious about this and really get your head down and get stuck in. You sit down at your desk and you go, what am I going to do to move my business forward today? I remember for years doing this, but what I used to do is sit down at my desk and I'd say, how am I going to make more money today? Okay, and that would drive my marketing. And that would make me pick up the phone, and it would make me talk to people that I was scared to talk to. And it really got me focused. But if you sit down and go, oh, well, I've got so much to do, but I just don't know what to do, I'm going to start surfing the internet, you're not going to get anywhere. So really invest yourself in your business. Dedicate time. Now, we've got photographers who can dedicate 40 hours a week, and we have got photographers that can dedicate 6 hours a week. Now, wherever you are on that scale, those hours that you do have, really embrace them. Prioritize your list, set your goals. Okay, so I'm sure you guys all want to be the £5,000 photographer, but actually, are you dedicated? Do you really want that? Think about what that means, and do you actually want that? Okay, and it's okay if you don't. If you want to be the £1,000 photographer, go for that, but really commit to it. Okay. Plan for the future. I'll give you a good example. As I was, 15 years into my career as an equine photographer, I knew I was going to have a young family at some point, and I thought, okay, I need to start planning for this, because when I've got a young family, I'm not going to be wanting to travel the globe for commissions. I need something that I can keep the business ticking over with, where I invest less of my time, because I know I'll have less time. And so that's when I started to create fine art images that I could sell over and over again, and it didn't have to be to just one client. Think about your support network. Both Hannah and I have been very lucky with our husbands, partners, our family and friends. We've had a really good support network, and people who believe in us and are prepared to stand by us and, you know, see us through the highs and lows of a creative business. And not more importantly, but as importantly, is your professional network. So other photographers who will, help brainstorm, go through the highs and lows with you on a professional level.
I was just going to say, the support network, that doesn't mean from a financial point of view, because Emily and I didn't actually use our partners.
No.
It's more of I need to vent without someone saying, we'll give up then.
Yes. Yeah. You just need people that believe, if you've got someone who says, oh, no one makes any money in photography. Oh, you don't want to be doing that. That's, a hard job to do. We've been lucky enough for 20 years to create our own businesses from our passions and, have a good lifestyle from the income that we're gaining from that job. And, I think your support network are people who are proud of you, even if you just work really, really hard, and maybe you're not making the money you want to right now, but they are there your cheerleaders, the ones that are saying, you know what, I know it's going to come good for you soon. That's who they are. Okay, so make sure you've got that around you. And if you haven't, then me and Hannah will be that for you.
Yeah, the Training Barn members group.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so education and mentoring. Now, you may all chuckle to yourself because obviously this is what we do as well. But both Hannah and I invested time, effort, and money in education and mentoring. And I, years and years ago, invested in a year-long bespoke course with Annabelle Williams. Some of you may have heard of her. She's been off the market now for quite some time, but she was a massive inspiration for me. And I invested £12,000, I think it was, in the whole year to do training with her. And it was the best thing I ever did. She gave me the knowledge. She gave me the support and guidance, structure to really help me build my business, and gave me direction, real clarity. She also kept me really accountable. And I was inspired by her. And what she really helped me do was value myself and realize my dreams. And I will be forever thankful for her, because she really taught me that I could be a high-end photographer, and all I had to do was get my ducks in a row, although she never used that saying, but that's our saying. You know, I had to just get everything in place and I could be that photographer I wanted to be. And Hannah, many of you know, she
spent a lot of money. I was going to swear then.
On mentoring and education with me. And if I'm honest,
all the good it did me.
we're still, although we're on a very different, we have a different relationship now, but you know, often Hannah will come to me and say, Emily, I've got this client and you know, she said this, she said that, what do you think I should go back with? And I'm there to help her bounce ideas off. So in a form, I'm still sort of mentoring, but it's important that you, and we're not just plugging our stuff here, but you know, I did tons of courses. I learned as much as I possibly could. I was a sponge, so was Hannah. We wanted knowledge so that we could progress as fast as we can. And the thing about getting education and mentoring is that you don't have to make all the mistakes. Those people who are teaching now more than likely made 100 mistakes, and that's how they've learned and are successful. But nowadays with online training and in person and all these things, it allows you, if you're able to invest a bit of your time and energy and effort into education, then those people can help really propel you forward. So dream of it. You must dream about it. You must see your dreams, and then you must plan them meticulously to the nth degree. Plan, but you must not forget to do the doing bit. Okay? And most people do the dreaming, do the planning, and then they never get around to the doing. And that's what separates the successful photographers from the dreamers. Okay?
And if it was easy, guys, we would actually have a saturated market, and we don't, because it's not easy. So the doing bit,
it's not easy.
No.
But if you're determined, you can do it. Okay, so inhale confidence and exhale doubt. Get rid of all that doubt. Breathe in the confidence and know that you can go and smash this, guys, okay? Okay, we know what you're thinking. This feels so overwhelming.
I've had quite a few messages like, oh, how do I get to that 5,000? This is so hard.
One step at a time. Take a deep breath and keep going, okay? Build your confidence and build your business. You have to work on it daily. Even if it's just for 10 minutes in your mind, you need to work on that, okay? What's next for you? Okay, guys, we have got loads of free resources on our website, blog posts that go out every week, a newsletter. We've just got tons and tons of good content on there that gives you loads of advice about starting your equine photography business. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter so that you get all our tips and tricks. We go live in the Facebook group. Join our members group. I'm sure Hannah's posted the link. And just make sure you delve into the depths of our website so that you can find as much info as you can. Now, for anyone who's been on the last 2 webinars, you know this next little 5-minute slot is for us to tell you all about our brand new online course. The doors are open and it's absolutely amazing. But I'm going to pass over to Hannah. Now, I'm pretty sure there'll be lots of questions. Yes. And once Hannah's just whizzed through this bit about the course, then we will come back and do the Q&A.
You guys type your questions while I...
Yes.
Ooh, slot in here nicely. Good evening, everyone. So we have very excitingly launched the Art of Equine Photography, the horse course. So we were getting asked all the time that people weren't quite ready to photograph horses and humans. Maybe it was something you wanted to move on to. So we've created the 6-part online course. It's instant access. You get access for the lifetime of the course. You can dip back in, you can do different modules, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So I'm going to give you a quick overview, and I do apologise to anyone who was on the last couple of webinars, but we're so proud of this course. So module 1 is all about your kit and settings, and it's because we get so many questions about what do you guys use, what do you recommend, what's going to get me through and build my confidence on a photo shoot with a horse. So it's getting your kit right, essentials you can't be without, clothing, tips and tricks. You'll be surprised how many people ask us about our clothing, and settings for every shoot. And we do tell you our real settings for my entire associateship panel. I've included that as a bonus, and you can see the exact settings I shot each portrait on. Module 2 is understanding horses. This is essential. Even if you've grown up with horses, you still have to be in a mindset of understanding what the psychology of a horse or the character of the horse brings into the photo shoot. And then we cover the client's safety, the horse safety, and your safety. Module 3 moves us on to planning and storyboarding. One of the things that Emily and I love doing, we open our Pinterest board or we rip out pages from magazines and we create vision boards. It's about setting your goals for each shoot, preparing for the actual photo shoot, storyboarding, finding the inspiration. So this can really be pushing your boundaries. And then, as Emily's talked about tonight, niching down. Module 4 is the technical bits, and it covers lighting, locations, and posing. I mean, let's just give you an example. In the lighting module, I actually show you, I photographed one horse and I basically moved him around. So he started in direct sunlight, then he went to dappled light, then he went to backlit. So you can see what the different lighting brings to the shoot and how it makes the images feel. Module 5 is all about structuring the shoot. So how to actually turn up with your confidence. You know exactly how you're going to run the photo shoot. So your client feels very safe with you, and they feel safe when you suggest things with their horse. They feel safe because you've got that structure. Finding your style is really important for all of you, and how to have the right mindset and come into all these photo shoots with confidence. Module 6 are the finishing touches. So how do you process your images efficiently? How to critique your own images without getting too emotionally involved and feeling like you're going to be quite hard on yourself. And then I go through a basic edit, a more advanced edit, and we give lots and lots of software advice. So I actually cover 3 photo shoots that between Emily and I that we did. And I will pick and reject the images, and I will tell you why I'm picking an image, why I'm rejecting an image, and how I'm using Lightroom for picking and rejecting. If you guys haven't got Lightroom, you can still learn loads from this module. The bonuses are epic, actually. So we've got, the first thing you need to do when you get this course is download the goals and planning workbook, print it out, and sit in an evening with a glass of wine and make sure you really plan your business. And then you've got the ideal kit checklist, lighting, location, and posing cheat sheet. We've given you a model call PDF, and then a template that you guys can use on your Facebook pages, on your Instagram, social networks. A preparation checklist, just print that out, and every time you go on a photo shoot, make sure you tick that checklist. And we've given you a resources guide as well. We've got a closed Facebook support system. So when you buy the course, you come on there, you can post images, and Emily and I will critique your images. Nothing to be scared of. It's all done with kindness. So we have an early bird offer for this course, The Art of Equine Photography, The Horse. So it's your 6-part online course with 8 bonuses and the private Facebook group. You've got instant access and an image critique from both of us in the group. It will be £295 after the 31st of October. Up until the 31st of October, it is only £195. If you click the offer in your chat box, you'll also see there is a payment plan if you'd like to do that. Now, I don't know how many of you know, you should all know because you're part of our Facebook group and you're part of our newsletter feed, but we have the Art of Equine Photography Horse and Human course, which we launched earlier this year, so about 8 months ago. This is all about photographing horses with their owners. And we go through, there's 6 modules, that's over 7 hours of learning. There's 9 full lessons on posing. So we really dig deep into posing the horse with the owner. 5 full lessons in locations, 6 full lessons in lighting. There's a Kickstarter session that will really get your mindset in the right place. There's a 1-hour video that follows Emily on a New Forest photo shoot with a model. It is completely self-paced, so if it takes you a year to complete, that's absolutely fine, or you might smash it in a very long weekend. You've got instant access again. There are 8 bonuses with this course as well, and again, you get image critique. Now, this course is normally £495 on its own. However, you can get both courses for £395 before the 31st of October. So normally these 2 courses are going to be £790, including, so there's 6 modules on each, and then you've got 8 bonuses on each. So you've got 12 hours of learning and 16 bonuses. Up until the 31st of October, you can get both for £395. Boom.
Boom.
And if you've got any questions about the course, please do post them. Have we got questions?
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to ask Emily the questions, and then we can also answer any questions on the course. Hope I didn't go too quickly.
Right. Let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Sorry, that was Mary Poppins. Molly, I just wanted to congratulate you because I see that you posted on a dressage group on Facebook that you were looking for a model. You arranged it, and I believe it's going very well. And you've said you've got some pocket money as well as a good paid shoot. So well done,
fantastic.
Molly. Well done. Okay, Karen, would you recommend compiling a list of people's emails to contact with a weekly or monthly blog? A bit like you do with the Training Barn emails. Obviously, I need to learn more about GDPR and collecting emails. You bring people on board.
Yes, definitely. But it is important that they agree to signing up to your blog or newsletter. So make sure you get their permission before you put them on that list.
Excellent. And I went on a shoot today, and their website was hugely useful in terms of background info, photography styles, etc., in terms of what they used. So I'm guessing you looked at the actual client's website, maybe a livery yard or something.
The livery yard. Oh yeah, probably they had.
idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea before you turn up on a shoot to just do a bit of research, understand.
That's 5-star.
That is 5-star. Definitely being prepared. Well done.
Boom. Martha, I get wanting to be 5-star completely. What do you do when you're already your own worst critic? Martha, your images are so beautiful.
Oh.
I've checked it right.
What do you do when you're...
Yeah, so I get wanting to be 5-star. So what do you do when you're already your own worst critic? So I think it's the confidence in being a 5-star that is stopping you.
And the biggest thing that can build your confidence is having people gush over your images. and then also purchase them. So every time someone goes, oh my God, I love my images, and then someone who invests in some products will build your confidence. And the only way you can do that is to keep shooting. So just keep going, and eventually your confidence will build, I promise.
So interesting. I'm just reading a few of the older comments about this catch-22 about going 5-star and having a space to do, I'm guessing, private viewings. I've got to tell you guys that I've done private viewings in golf clubs and hired a room for 2 hours. You don't overthink this process. Just get the best you can within your budget.
And get a space. I did a viewing, and I would call it a 5-star viewing because I certainly made 5-star money, but I was showing at an event, and it happened to be halfway between my client and where I lived, and we agreed they would meet and do their viewing behind my stand in a horse box, but I set up a very cute little white table and chairs, had my laptop there, still had the music, still had a drink for each of them, and they did their viewing in a horse box, and they still spent a lot of money, but because I had created an environment that still allowed them to do that, and all my correspondence was 5-star, and everything, the fact that I was saying, yeah, I'll do it when I'm at the show, we can arrange something, I sorted that all out. So don't overthink it, like Han says.
And Martha just finishes off saying, are you critical on your work, or is it just routine now?
Ha 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 ha, yes. We're always critical on our work. The only thing I would say is that as creatives, we get bored of our work. So we'll shoot something and we love it for 6 months. Say we pick 3 images from a shoot and we think, oh, do you know what? That was a good shot. I love that. I really like that. And then 6 months later, you don't like it anymore because actually you have progressed. You're shooting better already.
Or even editing better.
But the one thing, what you have to do is critique your work in a really constructive way. You do not want to critique your work and actually bash yourself down to the ground so that you think you're rubbish. That's not helpful to anyone. But you can say, you know what, had I turned the horse and owner just 90 degrees to the left, or had I released the horse in the field from a different corner, then I might have got a better shot because of this, and this. And it has to be constructive. So just remember that you have to be your own cheerleader and help yourself progress. Okay?
If you don't believe in it, neither will your clients.
Yeah.
Just going to read Jason's out because it's nice. Enrolled in the course, and it is great to study online and create a new portfolio as a professional photographer. It is easy and straightforward and covers all, and I mean all, aspects of getting skilled in equine photography.
Good. Thank you for that. That we appreciate that.
Eva, clothing again. To look 5-star, you said earlier that you shoot in running shirts, which is quite casual, but then you talked about Barber jackets. What do you really wear on a shoot as opposed to visiting clients for presentations afterwards? What looks 5-star when you wade through muddy fields? So, Eva, my shoot gear is a Mountain Warehouse running top and a soft gilet, a very nice pair of jeans. They are White Company jeans, and it's because they do not move. High-waisted and do not move. And I do have Dubarry boots, but I also have a really nice pair of Wrangler short boots, and I have a nice pair of trainers for the summer that are dark blue that match my jeans. For in-person viewings, I have a White Company jumper, nice pair of jeans, nice pair of shoes, and please make sure that you wear matching socks, because if you go to your client's place and they ask you to take your shoes off, I've done it before. I had a hole in one sock and the other one was not matching. I've never. So
5-star all over.
So that's an honest answer of what I really, really wear.
So then I would tend to wear to a shoot black jeans, very black, tight fitting jeans with the Barry boots, and then just a nice top and jumper, and usually a gilet of some kind.
But you can get nice tall boots for £40 or.
But I always have freshly washed hair. I've always done my makeup.
Turn your phone off.
Yeah, turn your phone off. All that kind of
clean boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clean kit.
Clean kit. Charged kit. Would others on this call who have equine focused websites be willing to share their URLs? I need to transform mine and I'm looking for ideas. Great idea, Greg.
There's a in the Facebook group, there is a thread where everyone is sharing their websites with each other. And so if you join the group, pop it in that thread, and then everyone can have a look at your websites.
Thank you. Everyone's showing here as well. That's nice. I had a critique from a high up pro and I was showing him my portfolio and I was cringing at the pics I won my awards with. I've done so much better since. And now, like you say, I'm a bit bored of looking at them.
Yeah. Always happens. It does. Always. So if you ever get printed brochures done, only get enough to last 6 months, because otherwise you'll want to swap all the images out.
Molly, would you say black leggings would be okay? As long
Yeah,
as something else is worn.
I think black leggings is fine. As long as they go for the thicker ones, so that if you bend down, some cheaper leggings go a little bit see-through. So go for thick black leggings.
You just have to ask yourself, would I buy £3,000 worth of whatever from this person?
Yeah.
Look at the mirror and ask yourself that. And lastly, because because we started a bit late, we're not too over. Charlie, dare I ask about print versus digital sales? I'm so confused as to what to offer and if to offer packages. That's a great big question. Emily, if you give an overview answer.
So your price guide needs to be simple. You must not put a barrier on how much your client spends. And by this, I mean packages. Because if you set packages out, you box your client into spending that amount, and even your top package, it will stop them being. If your top package was £1,000, you could potentially stop your client spending £1,500 because you've boxed them into that. I would definitely offer high res, but they need to be at a really decent high price. I don't mean like £10,000. You don't have to go that mad, but make sure that they're a decent price. So if someone just buys the digitals, you don't feel resentful that they're now walking out the studio having paid 120 quid for them.
If they're £20 for a digital and £150 for a frame, they'll just buy the digital and get it framed elsewhere.
Yeah,
you have to value that what they're buying is the image, not the frame.
Go simple and go quality. And don't put barriers on your clients.
Susan, when giving digital images to model call client, do you pay for memory stick or do you email them? So Susan, we were actually discussing this with someone today. With model calls, you have to treat them like a full client. This
like a 5-star client.
Yeah. So you absolutely give them a memory stick. You give them everything you would to a client as if they bought it, so that they recommend you to their 5-star friends.
Can I just say though, because I feel like I'm hearing it a little bit recently, is that people think that with the model calls, they are supposed to be giving all the high-res files away in exchange for their time and effort. And that is not the case. We actually recommend that you either give them one framed image in exchange for their time and effort, or if you don't have the budget for that, then you allow them to select between 3 and 5 high-res files. We do not say that you should give all the high-res files for free, because that does devalue your work.
We also don't recommend using model calls just to run your business.
No.
But we've had this conversation in the group. It's all good. So Rebecca has managed to follow our webinar while driving on the M1.
Wow.
I love that.
Impressive.
That's brilliant.
Hopefully you're not watching at all, just listening.
Greg, can you quickly explain again how model call works? A new concept for me. Okay, Do you want to go?
No, you go.
Okay, so Greg, model call. You want to make sure that, let's say you do 1 or 2 model calls a year. You do not want to become known as the model call photographer, and you want to get really, really specific. So if you've decided from this webinar that you're going to niche into black and white as your style, and you'll want to photograph dressage horses, you're going to want a model to do that so you can fill your portfolio. So that is what you ask for, not black and white.
No.
Of course, you're going to ask for a top dressage rider with a lovely yard. Be very specific in your asking, but you need to reward them for their time, which is why we suggest a frame if you can afford it, or a printed mount, or 3 or 5 digital images. But as soon as you've qualified them, and by that they have to value your service, they have to value a photo shoot. They can't just be looking to get a few free images and then they're going to cancel on you 5 minutes before because they can't really be bothered. And you'll find that out as soon as you talk to them on the phone. They need to you need to qualify them, they need to be valued, and then you put them straight in as if they're a client. You forget they're a model, run them exactly as a client, and if you want to, you can give them a friends and family price list to thank them even more.
So as you would a client, send them the booking form, the confirmation email, the price guide, hopefully the friends and family one you would do, and take them through that entire process.
So reward with images as opposed to cash. And where do you post the call? Well, I would, so you're not employing them as models, so they're giving up their time, and as a thank you, I mean, it is like giving them cash because the images are worth money. But you're thanking them by giving them some of the images. But you always give them the opportunity to spend some money with you if they want to. I always use the phrase, there is absolutely no obligation. I mean, I haven't done a model call for quite a long time, but I used to always say, it's absolutely no obligation, but I'm sure you'll want to purchase some. That's confidence, but not cockiness. So yeah, and we post it, you can post it on, well, Facebook's the easiest because you can add a link, but you can do it in, I've seen lots of successful model calls in Instagram and Instagram stories. And then Lisa, can you guys run a scholarship scheme for those of us who can't afford your mentoring at the moment?
Oh, well, it's interesting you say that because we have thought about it. We haven't quite decided our 2020 calendar. It's in the making at the moment. So we will certainly let you know if we can offer that.
Yeah. Karen, the new course, it's not even on our website yet. You need to follow the link that's in this webinar. We'll also do a follow-up email to you guys, and there'll be a link to this new course in there. Liz, yes, we do get consent. Anyone who models for you, it's because you want to use their images in your marketing. Whew!
Done?
Done.
Yay!
Thank you for your kind comment. Thanks for waiting for us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and apologies about the tech issue. It's been a great training session.
Yeah.
We hope you've all enjoyed it, and we hope you've got lots of value from it. And if you're interested in the horse course, go ahead and click the link and buy. And we would love you guys to do that because we worked very hard on it for over 6 months. So have a nice evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
and
guys.
We will no doubt see you again soon.
We'll see you in the group.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.